More.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Hi, Tech. We do have someone waiting for us already, and I appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well. I know it takes a few minutes for everybody to kind of, grab their caff, their drink, or whatever, and come on in. So, Keck, what are you enjoying today? What's in your mug? Or what is your beverage? My mug says, insert eye roll here because that's how I feel this morning. So no, but I'm here and we will begin this here shortly. So, we have Lord Vader. Hello, good morning. What's in your cup? What's in your mug? What are you enjoying today? And Stig is here and he is eating dinner right now because he is in the evening time while I am in the morning. So we have like a nice little contrast going on here.
We can compare that.
Huh?
We can compare that.
We can compare that too, huh? Compare and contrast that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're drinking tea. Nice. Yeah, I one day I'm gonna pop on with tea. My favorite tea is I like to drink green tea with hot honey. That's my favorite. So
I like black currant.
Black currant? That sounds really good. Iced tea here. Nice. I think an iced tea kind of day. And outside this morning, it is really cloudy for where I live at. I live in a climate that's dry and hot in the summertime. And the hottest I've ever been through in the weather here where I live at is maybe 115.
That would kill me.
That would kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but it's not. So I'm pretty sure either it's cooler today or it's humid, but I haven't been outside yet. But it looks really pretty outside right now. So, and that's my weather report here. How is it over there, Stig?
It's cloudy and drizzling. Very gray.
Wow, and drizzly, huh? So what's your temperature? I didn't look at the temperature here, but the last few days, it's been in the the high 90s, maybe breaking 100 a little bit.
I'll have a look.
Okay, Lord Vader. I used to like honey when I was younger, but I am not into it anymore. Okay, that's fair.
It's 61 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, geez, that sounds so great to me right now. And Dave M., happy day after your birthday. Thank you so much. It's now officially my unbirthday. Lord Vader, I recently just got done playing Jedi Fallen Order. I've heard good reviews about that. People who the original EU lore and stuff still enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order. So would you play that, Stig?
Nope.
No? Okay. Fair enough. Some people are like, well, I'll give it a chance or whatever. But, so there's people on all sides, both sides of the spectrum, I guess you could say. So
if you finance Disney and Disney Star Wars in any way, you're part of the problem.
So do you think buying Legends does that then too? No. Or are you just talking about the new stuff?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
If you give them money for a new movie or whatever, you're not making them fix Star Wars.
Yeah. Hey, hi, Kitty Bear. Nice. 86 Fahrenheit or, degrees here. Nice. Or outside. Yeah, I got it. Lord Vader, I'm very critical of Disney Star Wars, but I love that game. And that's what I heard with a lot of people is that they were critical about, what Disney's putting out, but they enjoyed Fallen Order. So enjoy. Hey, Matt, how are you doing? Good morning.
No, it's that Wilkins fellow again.
It's that Wilkins. And yes, and here comes Stig with his sass. Let's see here. And we will have Drew joining us here soon. And today's discussion, we're going to, basically talk about the lore, but get into Shadows of the Empire, the novelization and the game. So we're still talking game talk here. That's why, I have Drew and Stig here. Well, Stig has became a norm on here, but yeah, because they've played the game, I have not. So I can only talk about, the lore, behind the novel. So they can really get into the dynamics of the gameplay. All right, Lord Vader, Stig, are you also talking about all the people who buy Baby Yoda merch?
Yeah, I absolutely am.
Oh, we were talking about Star Wars yesterday. Well, in general, me and my family, and my 15-year-old, she's like, because I put on Revenge of the Sith because I was like, it's my birthday, I'm gonna watch Star Wars or whatever. So I put on Revenge of the Sith, and my daughter is like, I laughed when all the younglings got killed, and I was like, oh Lord, and then I was like, well, I laughed when Baby Yoda got pounded by the stormtroopers, and I'll.
Those younglings brought it on themselves, so Anakin did nothing wrong.
I was like, oh God, my daughter got her sinister side from me. There we go. Matt Wilkins, don't start with me, Stig. Laugh out loud. Ooh. Okay. Well, it's begun. Okay. Kitty Bear 98 behind my pig. I am torturing myself having my pigs turn on 20. What? I don't know what that's about. Okay. All right. Stig, have you finished the Jedi Academy trilogy? Oh, okay. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, Stig?
Yeah, I thought the first book was really, really shit. The second book was better, and the third book was a little bit worse than the second one.
And this is what my mic says. Insert eye roll here. I liked the trilogy, but yeah.
That's because your coffee cup is full of vodka.
Vodka? I don't drink vodka, but nice try. Baby Yoda is so cute. No, I don't know. No. Oh, did you guys see that it's hinted that they're have a baby Jar Jar now or something like that?
I think that was a fan that made it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said hinting, whatever. And so everybody was like, "Oh, baby Jar Jar," and I was like, "Oh God, here we go again." So Disney's gonna make a comeback with this Jar Jar thing. So let's see here. Happy belated birthday, OG. Thank you. I am on vacation this week and missed your last stream. Oh, well, enjoy your vacation. That sounds like fun. I need to go on a vacation. I really need a vacation. Let's see here. Lord Vader, Jedi Academy trilogy is bland, but it's better than Disney trilogy. So there you go.
Yeah.
You might have, I enjoyed it. I did.
I agree. It is better than the Disney trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So I have this little announcement because we're talking, like I said, we're going to be talking when Drew gets here. We're going to start talking about Shadows of the Empire gameplay and the novel, what have you. And so I posted on my Twitter a little bit of a bio on Dash Rendor. So I was researching his, his bio, making sure I have everything accurate or as much as I can. And guess what? He is part of the Disney canon now.
Is it the real Dash though, or is it just Dash in name only?
It's okay. I'm putting in the chat here. And it says, okay, Dash Render is now in Disney Star Wars lore. Solo, a Star Wars story novel, tales from Vendor, first canonically mentioned. There we go. Blah, blah, blah. So that's his first mention. And that's all he's been mentioned or whatever, but now he has now he's in the lore because he was mentioned. So either it's going to stay that way or they're going to use him later. Who knows? But I just thought that was kind of interesting. But of course, we know that once they bring a Legends or original character in from the EU, it's just a shell of who they were. It's not the same dynamics that they were built upon in the lore.
Maybe they're planning on re-releasing Shadows of the Empire, the video game.
I don't know, but if they do and re-release, it's still Legends. And this is in the novel, in their own novel.
Yeah, well, he could be in there simply because one of those weirdo writers didn't know the difference between Legends and canon.
Maybe. And so we don't know, but now he's, inserted there as a mention, and we'll see what goes from that. Maybe that's just it. So maybe he got mentioned in a book. Yeah, I just posted that. Yeah, in the Tales from Vendor from the solo book, one of the solo books. Yeah.
Darth Plagueis is also Well, the Darth Plagueis novel is referenced in the Tarkin novel, which is Disney canon.
Yeah, I know, and I thought that was interesting because that and Heir to the Jedi, I believe, were the two novels that were being in publishing or being published at the time of the buyout. So those two were basically they went back and tweaked the books to match the new lore as much as they could at the time. So I thought that was interesting. But yet, we don't know much about Plagueis right now in the Disney lore. So who knows? Who knows? And they mentioned like what they do. They mention the novel, or did this mention the story within the novel? Stig,
I'm eating.
I know you are. Listen to you, y'all. Plump, plump, plump. Yeah. So that's what I'm curious about. Oh, look at we have Zacharat 315. Howdy at O.G.StarWars. Howdy at Stig Kenobi. Howdy chat. Thank you for joining us. And what's in your mug today? What are you enjoying? What's your beverage? Stig right now is enjoying his dinner.
Yeah, with a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's his thing, Coca-Cola.
Yep.
All right. Lord Vader. Some of the events of Plagueis is canon by James Luceno because of James Luceno. How is that? I mean, I know that James writes for Disney, Lucasfilm now in the EU, but just because he writes doesn't mean that all his books are that from the past, or isn't it? Or did he mention it? Is that he's the one who written Tarkin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Disney said that everything story based that's published after they scrap Legends will be canon. So if the Tolkien book basically backs up the Plagueis book because Plagueis is described in it, which means the Plagueis book is canon too. But then again, Disney can't stick to their own canon, so
yeah, and so I think that's interesting because it's I don't know, it's a huge mess. I can't explain away their mess, really. I can't explain away it. So yeah, sorry, Matt G, just straight up coffee. Yes, that sounds good. Well, okay, so Matt G, I'm curious. So what do you like in your coffee? Do you like it black? Do you like what kind of creamer, or do you put milk or cream in there, sugar? Mine right now I use oat milk, so I've steered away from dairy, and then I used coconut sugar.
I put marshmallows in once.
You put marshmallows in your coffee?
Yeah, I did it once. Turned into rocket fuel.
Oh goodness. Hi Damajanai, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Let's see here. I am going to have a coffee in a little bit. Yum. Sounds good. Tea. I probably have tea today after coffee, or just drink water maybe. We'll see.
Ever notice that tea is really good if you're reading books?
Oh yeah. Sometimes even coffee. If I know I'm like staying up reading books like late at night, sometimes I will make some coffee just so that I could stay awake a little bit longer, especially when I'm really enjoying the book. So
I like drinking coffee with if I'm up late playing old video games on the PC though. It has to do with the mouse and keyboard and coffee.
Oh, okay. Helps you focus or what?
It's I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's what I used to do in the early 2000s and stuff. So it's probably some nostalgia things kicking in.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. So milk, but I use the sweetener flavors if they're here. Yeah. If I have a sweetener like a cream kind of thing, it's coconut. It's a coconut cream or coconut milk, either with like French vanilla flavor in it or just plain. So that's my thing. That's my dynamics of my coffee. Vader, not all of it, Stig. Only some of the events of Plagueis is in canon because of Tarkin. Palpatine referenced some of the events of the Plagueis novel. So,
okay,
yeah. But I did hear that, they had to go back and tweak up the novel Tarkin because it was being written for now what we call Legends. And the buyout happened. And I think that's what happened with Heir to the Jedi 2 with Luke Skywalker, that novel. That one was the one that was supposed to be for Legends as well. And they had to go back and tweak some of it up. So when you read both of those novels, it does sound more Legends than anything else, or original or than anything else. I cannot stand. But I think in Tarkin they made him gay.
Yeah, they did.
So I think that was one of the rewrites because he was never gay. Yeah, but
well, you need to score those woke points.
Exactly. I cannot stand milk in my coffee. Well, that's yeah. Yeah. And then you know what? Okay, so here's I don't know if you guys ever had this, but this is a crazy breakfast. Well, maybe it's going to be crazy to you, but I love it. And I got this from my Filipino grandfather. He would have it for breakfast with his coffee. So he would slice up bananas, and then he would pour half and half milk in it and have bananas with half and half milk, like that, just like that. And it's really good. I really like it. So, but yeah, that's something crazy. Something you didn't know.
That's not unusual up here too, because we'll have oatmeal for breakfast with milk, and we'll put banana slices in there.
Oh, okay.
It's probably in the same alley, isn't it?
Yeah, nearly, but this is just like half and half, so cream and milk, half and half. And sliced bananas. I think it's really good. I think the half and half really complements the bananas. It's really, really good. I mean, so if you like bananas and you want to try something different for breakfast, that and the slice of toast is really, really good. Where can I find a coconut cow for coconut milk?
From the same cow you get cocoa from.
That's hilarious. Yes. So in Shadows of the Empire, so I don't want to wait too long to start talking about it. So in Shadows of the Empire, what did you like about it, Stig? I know you read the novel before.
Yeah, I've read the novel, the graphic novel, and I played the game. I played the game a long time ago though, but I did beat it. Personally, I liked the graphic novel the best.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Okay. The game was really good for its time, by all means, but it has those early 3D models. Yeah. And they have not aged well.
Yeah.
It's the same problem with Jedi Knight 1, which is Dark Forces 2. That one hasn't aged well either. It looks...
Okay.
The characters look terrible. As for the story, it fits perfectly in between episode 5 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So with the graphic novel, what do you on the art in there? How would you rate it? 8
out of 10.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it just the artwork is great.
Yeah,
it doesn't have that. If you see a lot of comics nowadays, you have that cartoony style.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit like the Clone Wars show. Characters look off. It'll look realistic.
Oh, the 3D effect.
Yeah, something like that. It's just
the
heads are all angular and out of proportion. But Shadows of the Empire art is realistic, which is the way I like it. And it's a proper comic.
Yeah, I know. I love it when you get into a comic and you really enjoy the story, and then the artwork of the comic basically is very enjoyable too. It heightens the experience. When you get a comic, the story that's really good, but then the art is kind of suck. You're kind of like you can't really get into it that much because you're looking at these pictures, and maybe that is for Dark Empire. Because it's like a very, I wouldn't say monotone, but they just are set with like 3 or 4 standard colors in that.
Dark Empire is a bit well, that one is kind of unique though, because that's the only comic that has that style, I think, when it comes to Star Wars. But I'm thinking of those. Have you seen those new Clone Wars comics and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
They just look terrible.
Oh, the newer ones, right?
Yeah, just exaggerated expressions, big mouths. They look like almost like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, right?
Yeah, the classic Clone Wars comics are really good. The one from the
Although,
Multimedia Project, yeah,
yeah, those are awesome. Holy
yeah,
crap! They're
hmm
that's a war. It's not
yeah,
a Anakin and Kenobi winning every fight against the Roger droids.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. And then when we were watching Revenge of the Sith, one of my family members mentioned because we see Revenge of the Sith, Yoda fighting Palpatine, and if you're only just comment like know the movies, you would think that's the first time Yoda fought Palpatine, and then like, oh well, this isn't his first fight with Palpatine. He should have known better because you know how he walks in and then Palpatine hits him with a force push and slams him against the wall and he falls and for a second and knocks out for a second or so. And
yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, the Clone Wars. Well, we are meant, like when you watch just Revenge of the Sith, you get that that's the first time that Anakin and Obi-Wan fights Dooku together. But then when you get into Clone War, it messes it up. And then I'm thinking, okay, well then with this, if you are only privy to the movies, then you would think that this is the first time Yoda ever fought Palpatine. But then when you get in the Clone Wars, he fights him. So it kind of doesn't make sense when you look at the aspect of that and the movie. So I
Well,
mean,
that's because Dave Filoni can't write good villains. He just keeps bringing back old ones. And edits them like
yeah.
Maul and and all those.
hmm Yeah. And so with that, what do you think about that? Because I thought it was very interesting because I never really thought about that dynamic between Yoda and Palpatine and how much it had a lot of weight to it in Revenge of the Sith. But then, then to find out, and I totally just like spaced it off that he fought him in the Clone Wars.
Well, that's stupid because Yoda's clearly not prepared at all to fight Palpatine in
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. He gets taken completely by surprise by a force push, which,
hmm
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
I'm sure some apologists will come up with a perfectly stupid reason to explain it away, but yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And the thing, yeah, and I get what you're saying on that. And like I said, the heaviness and the impact of seeing him fight Palpatine and how it looks to me, and it comes off as his first ever fight with Palpatine. Really, it loses its meaning and stuff like that. Now that when you think about it and you go back into the lore of the Clone Wars, and he fought him already. So
Well, if Yoda fought Palpatine earlier in the Clone Wars, then why are they surprised when they find out that there's a Sith Lord behind everything? Because they
Mhm.
don't seem to know that until Anakin tells Windu
Mhm.
that, hey, we're dealing with a Sith Lord. It's Palpatine.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. And again, I didn't think about that, in itself too. And so now there goes the surprise of that because, of course, if Yoda knows who Sidious and Palpatine are,
Well, to be fair, he doesn't have to know that it's Palpatine because Palpatine could be cloaked. So just
yeah,
knows it's a cloaked person
yeah,
using the Force. But they shouldn't be surprised though that there's a Sith Lord behind a lot of things if
yeah,
Yoda's actually seen him and fought him.
yeah. I know. So
Because Yoda would be able to sense how powerful Sidious was before that.
yeah, yeah. Hi, Orange Hat. How are you doing? And again, if you guys, who are joining, press the like button there and share. Let everybody know that we are, live here doing the morning coffee chat and what's in your mug as well. So, what is your beverage that you are enjoying while we go through this chat? We kind of stirred off away from Shadows of the Empire because I noticed, like I said yesterday, I was like, it's my day, it's my birthday. I'm going to watch Revenge of the Sith. And then last night, before I went to bed, I put on A New Hope. So I watched those two back to back. And so I thought that was fun, but, discussing the lore and getting into the technicalities of the Clone Wars, it kind of messes up some stuff for Revenge of the Sith.
Well, Lord Vader has a comment in the chat. He says, at the end of Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan said that a Sith Lord named Sidious controlled the Senate. He has a point. That's true. So that kind of... still, he shouldn't have fought Sidious, though, or been anywhere near him until episode 3.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna go back and revisit that because I like I said, I don't even recall that right there. So I'll go back and revisit that. And
yeah, I absolutely remember that. So
okay,
Lord Vader is spot
on. Okay. Yeah, so it's interesting how it feels like it feels kind of clunky.
Oh yeah.
It does, and it is what it is. Orange Hat, Yoda didn't fight Palpatine directly. It was a vision. Doesn't change the fact that they both fought, though. Clone Wars was made with a little regard to canon. Yeah. Gandhi Tartakovsky Clone Wars had better story. Yeah, Tartakovsky's really stayed to the actual lore of what was coming and what it was leading into the battle above Coruscant. And, so I really praise that. For as little as that series was, it really had a lot of weight to it. That's my take on that.
I just stick with the dark. I think it was Dark Horse who made them. Did the Clone Wars comics?
Yeah,
because those were better than both of the shows.
Yeah. He's like, I will just stick with the comics. All right. So Miss Martin Muses, how you doing, darling? I have coffee in my mug. Hey, how do you enjoy your coffee? So what do you like putting in? Do you like straight black coffee, or do you like to, sweeten it up with some cream and sugar? Coffee, lots of it. Yes, lots of it. Cheers to that, sir. Or madam. Lord Vader, but still they're not surprised by there being a second Sith. But see, the thing is that, well, when Anakin was telling Mace, he was like, the Emperor is the Sith Lord we are looking for. So there you go. Matt G, I like Anakin fighting Dooku during the Clone Wars and losing because I didn't buy Dooku destroying Anakin in episode 2. But in episode 3, it's complete 180. I buy Anakin losing to Dooku over. I'm like, my mind's now going back to the Clone Wars and trying to remember because I haven't went back and revisited it in a while. So did Anakin fight Dooku on his own in the Clone Wars? Steve?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So there's a lot of weight between episode 2 and 3 with Anakin facing Dooku. We have Anakin who is young and naive, and basically he went and went at him when he's not supposed to. He's like, I'm just gonna go at him, and Obi-Wan's no, don't do that. Anakin basically calling him back, and that's when he gets his arm cut off by Dooku. So you see Anakin with arrogance, and immature, just wanting to fight, and then versus him, then maturing in Revenge of the Sith and facing him, with Obi-Wan, where Obi-Wan then gets knocked out, and and fighting him where Palpatine, he's already into Anakin's mind and tells him to end him basically. So it was pivotal. I think between those two is pivotal. Those two alone. Subhuman, good morning, OG and Stig.
Good morning, Subhuman.
Yes, Matt G. And over till he had enough of 3P. Oh, we have Drew.
Morning.
Hey.
Hi, Drew.
How are you doing?
Oh, hanging in there. I just had some things to do this morning before I jumped on. So
that's okay. That's okay. I hope all is well with you, though. So, everyone, we now have Drew with us. So, good morning.
Hi, folks.
Morning from Cali.
Yes, it's more like 12:29 in the afternoon here
It looks
in
like you have
Ohio.
Starbucks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I recognize. So what are you sipping on?
I have a venti caramel macchiato.
Ah, venti caramel. I like my caramel macchiatos ice. I don't like them hot.
They're good hot, actually.
I don't like them hot. I think they're better iced.
I don't even know what the heck it is.
Well, caramel macchiato, Stig, is just has a few shots of espresso in it, and
Steam it up.
the caramel flavoring and stuff like that, and it's pretty good. I kind of got it this morning because I wanted something with kick, so I needed those couple shots of espresso.
Yeah. And Orange Hat is like, I put enough sugar in my coffee to feed ants for a year. Wow, you love your stuff sweet.
Sounds
Woo!
very antagonistic.
Yeah.
And Topher, I give some of those problems with the Clone Wars and pass because all of it's good series. There's great episodes and everything, and I will compliment those episodes, but to me, it's the lore problems with it.
Yeah, and it's the continuity with the movies. I mean, sure, the Clone Wars as a standalone thing is very entertaining, but it just doesn't mesh well with the movies.
Yeah.
They had a lot of continuity issues between the Clone Wars and the movies. I mean, if you can if you can watch it and separate that, it's like Stig said, it's super, super entertaining because most episodes in there, just like any other show, the Clone Wars has clunker episodes. We know that. It's just like any other show. But if you watch it in its entirety as a whole, most of the episodes are pretty good. There's good action, good story, it's good consistency to it. So that's great. But there is the long-standing problem of the meshing with the movies, and as a fan, if you can discern that, separate it, you're going to be fine. But
yeah, they should have never made it canon. The same with Rebels. Rebels create even more problems, actually.
it did. I think that was a hurried decision because I thought that I looked at it from more of the business aspect, that they kind of hurriedly threw that in to try to mix it into canon, to try to sort of ignite some interest in possible other marketing opportunities, t-shirts, toys, so on and so forth. And they dropped the ball on that because, if you look, you don't find around the stores. I didn't see a whole lot of things. I didn't see like any Ezra Bridger figures or things like that. There were a few things you could find from Rebels merchandise or things like that. But I mean, they hurriedly put that in, and then it did more harm than good.
Yeah, I mean, all Filoni had to do was pay attention to the movies, and most of the problems wouldn't have been there. I mean, the Rebels didn't have B-wings before Episode 4.
Yeah,
right? Clearly, or we would have seen them.
Yeah.
But in Rebels, they get the B-wings before the X-wings, and all of a sudden, the B-wings can drain their hyperdrive. I think by doing like an OP blast that takes out cruisers.
Yeah.
And like, the hyperdrive is not linked to the cannons.
Yeah.
And if they could do that, they would have had a lot less trouble in Episode 6 because they had B-wings. They could have just drained their hyperdrive and blasted some of the Star Destroyers, right?
Yeah. There's definitely silliness to be had in both shows, when it comes to trying to equate certain things to canon. But all in all, I thought again, Clone Wars is a good show. I didn't think that much of Rebels to begin with. Animation never really did it for me, and
Oh, it's lazy, which is why everyone's eyes
hmm,
are covered in Rebels, because Ezra keeps wearing that stupid helmet. All the Imperial officers have their, the brim of their hat covering their eyes, and it's really lazy.
yeah, I mean, I actually liked Ezra as a character. I thought he was a good character. Same
Oh, you
thing
like the
with.
Aladdin or the Star Wars Aladdin?
Yeah, I liked Ezra as a character. He wasn't bad. I kind of wish that he would have had a little bit more of a dark period, and had and really ran into a conflict with the tutelage from Maul versus tutelage from the other Kanan and people that were trying to guide him in a good way, and I wanted to see that explored a little more. I felt like that part felt short. I thought that would have been fascinating had he given in for a while to the dark side, and really flourished with that dark training. But it is what it is. There were still some good characters to come out of it. I really liked Bo-Katan, but OG, what a sucker I am for Katie Sackhoff. I'm a bit of a simp for Katie Sackhoff. Yes, I will admit. But hey, I thought Rebels was good for what it was, but I prefer Clone Wars if I'm looking at the two shows by far.
Yeah. And with mine, I'm like, forget, like Clone Wars, I like some of the episodes like from Filoni, but overall it just turned me off towards the lore. But me, I am big about the lore. I'm big about continuity
Yeah.
stuff. So, my favorite is, if it's going to be an animated show or whatever, is Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I definitely respect that. Hey, AD, how you doing? Haster, good to see you guys. I always run into those guys in so many different streams, and I stream with Angelus all the time.
yes,
But
thanks for coming.
but but yeah, the thing with the previous Clone Wars, there was a little bit that I liked, but you understand the nitpick, Laura, I'm sure, because people that you've talked to probably don't. There's a lot of debate over the animation style for that, and compared to the newer Clone Wars. And
Yeah.
I'm in the camp of the newer Clone Wars when in animation styles. I saw some of the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, but man, I really liked the other one.
Yeah, you like the 3D animation, and I get it, but like when you look at Tartakovsky's, that's the classic cartoon that basically we grew up with as well too.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm old, so I grew up on a lot of.
Yeah,
I didn't exactly grow up on that.
and yeah, so like Tartakovsky, George liked his animation. That's why he brought him in. He liked him for that animation, and that's why he brought him in and stuff. And so like it is, like I said, it's every, like, especially before the 3D cartoons came in and stuff, like the Clone Wars, the 3D animation, you've seen different artists, cartoon artists, you can distinctly tell between, oh well, this is this guy and this is that guy by just seeing the cartoons and stuff. And so now when we get in 3D animation, you don't really see too much of the individual artist's touch, I guess you can say, because it's all digitally done. I mean, you do see some of it, but it's not apparent as it when it used to be drawn out.
Right.
The spaceships look good in the Clone Wars, though.
Yeah.
See, Haster, I got, but okay. Really quickly, the reason that I really like Katie is I met Katie in person back in 2013 at a benefit for it was a charity thing, and I met her and Trisha Helfer,
Mm-hmm.
and it was they were very nice. Like it was the best experience anyone could have with two Hollywood celebrities that you could ask for. They were down to earth. They went above and beyond. Talking to them was like talking to your next door neighbor outside. They were very, very sweet people, and I had a lot of respect for them because this technically wasn't like a big like meet and greet or fan thing or anything like that. It was just a charity event. They didn't have to spend that kind of time with people, but they did. They had they genuinely wanted to meet people, and it was awesome, and it was a lot different than meeting a celebrity in a convention setting. Because think about it, you go to a convention, you pay what, $40. You have to stand in line, and then you're lucky if you get all of 10 minutes to talk to the person, and then they shoo you away and get the next person in, and it's like this was really, really a good intimate experience when you have a fan interaction with somebody that is a professional. So hats off to her and to Trisha. They were really great. And then the thing was you guys know the condition my mom's in and that she's really sick. They took time out, actually. Wonderful thing about Katie Sackhoff, I was standing there before I had gone, and I had talked to them briefly, and I was going to go talk to them some more, but I called my mom to tell her what was going on, and I said, "Oh, Mom, it was awesome. I'm talking to Katie Sackhoff." And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, really? I wish I could be there." And Katie's standing about 2 feet away from me, and she said, "Hey, Drew, right?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Can I see your phone for a second?" And she takes my phone, and she gets on the phone with my mom, and she starts talking to my mom. She talked to her for about 15 minutes, and she made like my mom's decade just by talking to her, and she knew the story because I told her why my mom couldn't make it to the event with me, and it was like one of the nicest gestures I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you probably didn't even watch that phone or anything for a long time.
Yeah, it was just.
He was like, she touched this.
No, what happened was they actually signed my Battlestar Galactica T-shirt. So so it was great. But for Katie to do that was such a sweet gesture on her part. And, and she told my mom, she told her the sweetest thing. She just told her, "Hey, look, I know your son said that you have leukemia. Just keep fighting and keep enjoying every day." And she said, if my work inspires you, I am so happy for that." And she thanked my mom for being such a fan.
Yeah. Wow, that's an amazing story. I love it. Yeah, and so just sealed your love for her.
Well, yeah, and it goes to show there we can sit here and we can be critical of a lot of celebrities, guys, but there are some of them out there that are gems, that are gems as people. So as much as we go and criticize, we can't always lump them together in a group.
Yeah, there are. I mean, sadly though, they're few and far in between. But there are some very genuine, like voice actors, actresses. Even regular. So there are genuine ones out there. And I think, and I'm not trying to get into politics or anything like that, but I think once a person gets in, like an actor or actress gets into their political view and starts spewing it, that's where I kind of like distance myself from them. And I'd rather just know, I mean, I don't care about anybody's political view or whatever, especially an actor or an actress, so I like you for your profession, and keep it at that. And so once I hear something, and it's being used to belittle like a certain sect of the political world, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could just tell, meeting somebody like Alyssa Milano or somebody like that would be, my God, I would probably want to run out of the room, but I mean, this is awesome. And these were just two, professional actresses that enjoy their craft, enjoy the fans, and never once did they get preachy or political or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you don't see it on their Twitter. They are activists for like rescuing animals, which is great. They're always pushing rescuing dogs and cats, but they don't get political on their Twitter. So, hey, look, I respect that. They just keep their nose to the grindstone and do their work.
Yeah. And so I was just going to mention this because I know you guys seen it go down, but we seen Gina Carano, get attacked by, people on Twitter about her post of someone standing out during the Nazi time in Germany. But then also.
Laura, just be real about who attacked her. Look, extreme nutso leftist attacked her.
Cancel culture. We'll go with that. And then not too many people follow Mark Anthony Austin, and he's worked for George Lucas and under IML, the part of Lucasfilms there, and he was also a supervisor in that department. And he was an artist, and he is an artist, and he's one of those, and he's also a Boba Fett, and he played Boba Fett in the special editions. So he's one of the Boba Fetts that are in that are actors that played Boba Fett. And he is one of those that doesn't talk politics, may, talk about like saving animals or whatever, but he hardly even talks about that. His focus on is Disney, Star Wars, and basically his art. And so he never does any political approach or anything. And then one day he decided to post a picture saying that he's glad that he was casted as Boba Fett and not Jar Jar Binks. And it's a picture of Ahmad Best, mostly in the costume, because we know that the head had to be CGI'd. And so he used that backstage image because at the time he was still under George Lucas, and he has a lot of, photos, backstage development of photos because of where he worked. And he shared that. And so he just mentioned the character, not the actor. And the same cancel culture people went in there and raised hell with them, saying, you're attacking Best, shame on you, and just going at it. And I watched it go down. I supported him because, like I said, he never does anything controversy. So I knew exactly what he was talking about, because he doesn't care for Jar Jar. And I think, a lot of fans don't care for that character. However, they are okay with Ahmad Best, because a lot fans can separate actor from character, while these people could not. And basically they chased him off the internet or off Twitter.
Well, we're talking about the same people, though, that can't distinguish fiction from reality.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, so it's ILM. So I said LMI or something like that. But yeah, ILM. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I meant. Industrial Lights and Magic. Yeah. And so he was very prominent in that. And so, I thought it was just very disgusting and it was sad, because he's like, I'm done with you, Twitter. And, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. And then people are like, yay, you're going now, blah, blah, blah. So it was really bad. It was bad. And, my point here is that they didn't do their homework, because he even went and said, no, I'm talking about the character, not about the actor. He's like, it's just all about the character. I'm glad that I was chosen for Boba Fett and not later chosen for, for Jar Jar. And, but people insisted, oh, well, you're just the same people that harassed, made Ahmad Best want to commit suicide. You're just like those people, the fans. Well, when Ahmad Best came out, he basically said it was the media. So, yeah. So, it's sad that, we can get like genuine actors and people who work behind the industry do get attacked like that. And those who have this huge like political stand or even, talk against the fans, they get praised. So I noticed that little thing going on, and it's just disgusting. So I like when there's genuine fans that just cherish the, or not genuine actors and actresses that just cherish the fandom and really gets behind that and is genuine to the people. I like people like that.
Yeah, and back then when Ahmed Best got harassed,
Mm-hmm.
it was the media because they were doing Jar Jar skits and all that constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fans didn't harass him. There was no social media back then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Yeah, fans didn't like the character, but it's just the character. It's not the actor.
Yeah.
It was the media that was basically going, after Best, really campaigning that attack, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So,
and it's the same people that are still doing talk shows that did it, and I've seen them attack
mhm.
Star Wars fans in the last few years, and
Yeah.
they were the ones themselves that harassed Ahmed Best and the Anakin kid too. They made skits about him too.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's media on him and then his school peers when he was little. But school kids are we all know this. School kids can be mean. We all know that already. They don't care, and it could be just from jealousy because he was the young Anakin, and so kids could be really mean and stuff. But I mean, people will take it and say, oh no, it was the fans and the Star Wars fans, they're toxic, you guys are just toxic, and then they'll add in like the Fandom Menace or whatever other support group there is, and blame them and stuff. And when you look at like with Gina and Mark Austin, it was like the Fandom Menace and those who are around that circle or even just who know of the Fandom Menace that came in and supported them.
Yep, we circled the wagons and we got Gina's back, and hey, look, she was appreciative, man. She loved it because she was getting pretty she's getting some pretty nasty comments on Twitter at her, and that's just a problem with Twitter, man. Twitter is such a cesspool, and we all know that.
And I got attacked last night.
Yep.
Yeah, someone threatened me on Twitter last night with a picture, and it wasn't even their picture, but that's what makes it worse, is that he claimed it was his picture, and it was I forget the name of the person anyways.
Yeah, some troll.
Yeah, and he's like, this is me, and you better watch out. And it's a picture of someone looking all funky, and he's pointing the gun at the screen, and I was like, holy shit, that's a threat right there. And it was all because he was like, oh, you're just discussing about a movie made for 12-year-olds. And so I went back at him like, oh, well, you're responding basically, you must be 12-year-old, and why does your parent allow you to be on Twitter? That's such a wrong decision. And so it pissed him off.
Well, like I said, shout out to Abu Nas. That's a prime example of a bitch made dude right there, that's the kind of dude he ain't gonna roll up on nobody, because I tell you what, some dude like that, man, you really come to somebody's house, you go be dead when you hit the doorway. I mean, don't come with stupidity. Do not come with stupidity.
Yeah, and the thing is like, a lot of people reported him, but he ended up deleting that picture. But then he was going around saying, why is that threatening? And I'm like, well, dude, you deleted the picture. You knew it was incriminating. Yeah, so this guy was a nut. I ended up blocking him and everything, reporting the incident and stuff like that. But so be careful out there, people. Discussions on Star Wars can turn in such a way, and it's sad.
I know.
Yeah, Stig knows firsthand.
Yeah, Stig knows. Hey, look, I've had it happen to me too. So, we all know.
Yeah, exactly.
I had 20,000 people pissed at me for saying, hey, Ahsoka is bordering on being a Mary Sue. She was unarmed and beat an armed Darth Maul.
I remember that, Stig. God.
Yeah, people lost
Oh
their shit.
man,
Well,
you triggered
Yes,
people.
that was friggin' that was you went viral with that one.
yeah, and the fun part is I hadn't tagged anyone, I hadn't hashtagged it. I was just making a comment while watching that episode, right? And the
Yeah.
fun part is I actually liked the episode. Nobody asked me about that.
Yeah. Miss Martin Muse, don't engage with crazy.
Yeah,
Some
you got that
you
right,
don't even
Teresa.
have to. You can just comment and like one of the people you're following that you have, good, rapport with on Twitter, and then a crazy can come in and start attacking. I've had that happen too. And it's crazy, like with all the Filoni thing and his his speech that he gave at the Women's Tech Conference. And it kind of revealed like how he thinks about how Star Wars should go. And it really went against what George Lucas was, saying how Star Wars should be. Basically, when he did that speech, you can kind of tell where he's towing the line for the new company that he works under. And so I pointed that out, and I never really cared for Filoni. I've never been the one that put him on the pedestal because I don't. He worked for George, yes, but then a lot of people worked for George under George and looked up to George to get their knowledge about creating Star Wars. So I never put him on a pedestal. And I just see him as an ordinary hiree of the company, and what have you. And so I talked about that, and I got attacked about that. So it goes all ways, and it's sad that people can't, has to attack and can't just kind of have a conversation. I'm like, oh, I understand where you're getting at. I do like the dude, and I do think that maybe you are misconstruing what the message was, or what there's no more any constructive talk or criticism or anything like that anymore. It's just all about like, hear me loud, let me, hear me, my opinion, and it's the only opinion that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it's more that they can't stand the fact that someone has an educated opinion because that shoots down their narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes them lose their shit because it rattles their safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. And all I did was compare like with what he said at that conference to what he said in the Art of Rise of Skywalker development book or whatever it is, and compared notes on that with other things to come to my conclusion. So that was an educated conclusion. Yeah, I got attacked for it because, he's George's heir, or his apprentice or whatever. And I'm like, I'm glad you worship the dude and you put him on a pedestal. More power to you. I'm just sharing, I'm just sharing facts that I, found to, and comparing and contrasting them, Stig, so that's
Oh
what
yeah.
I do.
Oh, so that's where you got it from.
So Lord Vader, Stig, she's not a Mary Sue, but hey, I'm going to defend your right to speak.
She's
She's turning into a Mary Sue.
yeah.
It can be turned into a Mary Sue later.
She certainly wasn't a Mary Sue when she started, but then Filoni just seemed to try to make her more important than she ever was, retroactively.
Yeah.
And just he made the enemies weaker just to make her look more competent. I mean,
Yeah.
Darth Maul should have killed her in like 5 minutes because she's still a Padawan.
Yeah.
And Dooku should have. Well, she didn't fight Dooku, did she? But she.
No.
Grievous should have killed her because she was like 14 when she fought and survived Grievous. I mean, come on. And in Rebels, she shows up with. Well, she hasn't been trained since the Clone Wars, and she basically gets a draw against Vader.
I would have liked some contextual fill in there. When for when she appeared in Rebels, just what she went through, and if she possibly ran into any other Force users, and how she learned to hone her powers and also expand her saber skills. Because as Stig said, she was just kind of you didn't get a fill in for that gap of time or understand just exactly, what all she went through. So when she's fighting Vader, all of a sudden to a draw, yeah, it's very like it's a little bit of a head scratcher. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah, especially since Filoni boasted about when he started Rebels. He said all the other Jedi's are level 10, Vader is level 50. So, like, okay, so what's Ahsoka then if she got a draw against him, right?
Yeah, in that case, because she's not even a Jedi at that. So what's up with that? Because even like now that season 7 came out in Clone Wars, and we all knew that she was never a Jedi because she left the Order.
Yeah.
But the Clone Wars episode 7, reiterated that with May saying you're not a Jedi, and she's like, yeah, I know I'm not a Jedi, kind of deal.
She's a Force user.
Yeah, exactly. And people will say, oh, well, Maul, all this time in between then and their fight, he really didn't train, or he was, healing and blah. So they have all this excuse for him, why he got either in a draw or defeated by Ahsoka or whatever. And, but we could say the same thing with Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I hope at some point, they actually do put out like maybe a companion book, something like that, to kind of explain that, fill in that gap, and I would be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure Filoni has planned at least 5 shows about Ahsoka during that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, I have my theory, and I did a video on that she's going to be like some kind of Force goddess. By time it's Luke Skywalker's era, she's going to be some kind of Force goddess. So I did make a video on that theory, leading up to, or like seeing all what Filoni's making of her and stuff. And then her nickname is Ashla. So just put 2 and 2 together. She's going to be some kind of Force priestess, Force goddess, or whatever. And so that's my prediction in the future. So I do have Soul Assassin right here. Sorry about that, OG. I didn't think my simple question would have led to a troll spurging out. And I was just replying to his about why did this person feel like, about, was it was it the Jedi, or why a certain episode wasn't, or why Luke wasn't a good character or a boring character. And that person had originally responded to him, like he basically couldn't relate to him because he's a space wizard. And so I just requoted that person saying that, he couldn't relate to him because he's a space wizard. And then that's when that person started, and it was only to Soul Assassin. And that person came back and started just commenting and commenting and commenting. And I was like, I wasn't even talking to you, dude. This is not to you. This is between us. Well, I'm living in your head rent free. And he's going on and on and on. And then he starts saying, well, why are you even discussing something about Star Wars that are, movies made for 12-year-olds? And so I went at him about basically saying, well, you're over here, getting mad. You must be 12-year-old getting mad, basically, and I think it's a bad choice for your parents to have a 12-year-old on Twitter.
No, man, that was great.
Yeah. And so, but the thing is that it was just me, and I was just commenting to Soul Assassin and in the thread, but it was directly under him, directly a reply to him. And he kept on commenting back to me. He never would anybody else, not even to Abu, when Abu came and jumped in on that. And I was like, are you targeting me? Are you? And I go, this is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're stalking. I said, you're only commenting.
Targeted harassment.
And then he posts that picture. So, but yeah, we're going to move on. So let's see what the chat has to say now, because I know we have Ahsoka fans in here, and more power to them. I understand we all have our favorite characters in Star Wars. Here's the unfortunate
truth. That's a good point.
Since Disney has become in charge of Star Wars, the fandom has become very tribalistic. Well, yeah, that was the divide. And the divide began when they decided to make the original lore non-canon. That was the first divide. And then after that, when they started, and then what they did, with the annihilation of Luke Skywalker in his character arc, that created another separate. And then when you started seeing the directors and associates and mad at the critics, or at the fans criticizing the development of the movies, then that created further split. So yeah, I mean, it's I wonder whose fault that is. I wonder.
We can take some of the lore or some of the stuff from the lore and adapt it to our fandom. This is that was the first great schism.
Literally like schism. Go ahead, sorry, Stig.
Yeah, well, Disney let their employees and some shills label fans who didn't like The Last Jedi Nazis. They actually said Nazis, sexists, racists. I mean, that's not how you treat customers.
No,
that's never. That would never have happened during George Lucas's reign.
No, even when he got criticism for like even Jar Jar, he still loved the fan. And him selling the company is not due to fan backlash of prequel trilogy. I'm sorry, but it's not. He wanted to retire. He had a new family. He wanted, and he wanted to explore other film options. He knew that making another, 3 movies trilogy would take a lot of time because he's, we know his pattern. He waits a certain amount of years before he goes on to the next one, so that there's a lot of character development that can happen in between the movies and stuff, not like what Disney did. And, so I understood what his approach was, and he did have faith in Kennedy. He did have faith in Disney, and they basically betrayed him. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So, and then Scott Johnson, not a fan of Filoni for his fake admiration of the legend. Admiration, sorry. I need to find my glasses here. I'm like sitting with stuff. I need to put on my glasses. Yeah, and that's the thing is that, he really didn't go into the lore, and what he did grab out, he didn't research. And so that kind of was detrimental to the story as well. And Lord Vader, no, she's not. I agree with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, said that the fans made her more important, and I agree with them.
But that's not how you write. You don't. Art is not a democracy. You don't alter the story or characters just based on, who people are cheering for, because that means the story has no integrity by itself.
Mm-hmm. But see, Filoni really loved Ahsoka too. So I mean.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Didn't she die though? I thought because Ezra pulled her out is the only reason she's alive, and I do not like that world between worlds. They should not have entered, time travel, time portal in Star Wars. That was never part of the lore. Never.
I mean, if they have to change the lore to add time travel just to cater to one character, that's a whole lot of Mary Sue.
Yeah, I mean, the world between worlds is, I think, it's almost like the way the MCU has the quantum realm. That it's a Star Wars version of the quantum realm. Let's be real, and they're trying to use that as like the fallback to explain like really almost unexplainable things when they happen to certain characters. And I don't know that I'm a fan of that either, because it's almost like a crutch. And I don't know. I don't like it in the MCU.
Yeah, and the thing is with that is when you look at the original lore and you see like, because I'm going through the Fate of the Jedi series again on Audible as I work around the house and stuff. And they have like the pool of knowledge. They have the, they have the, what do you call it? Shit, I know the name of it. Why am I like spacing out on it? Where you can walk back and view the future or the present. They have that, but the thing is, in the lore, you cannot manipulate anything, or it can harm the future or the past. So there's rules to that. So if you glimpse and walk, it's something walk. Shit. Okay, people who in the comments who knows what that is, I am like friggin' like spacing out on what it's called. And Jason, flow walk or something like that. Well, Jason learned that from, I think, the anti monks or something like that.
Mhm.
And but if you go in and manipulate it, either time will correct itself or it'll harm the past. So that's why if you do anything, go in the future or the past, it's frowned upon and you don't do anything. And usually the force will correct itself. And so I think that's really good if in the lore, because then you can't go in and just say, oh, I'm going to pull someone out and change this and change what had happened, and stuff like that, versus Disney pulling Ahsoka out in, Worlds Between Worlds. And now she's in the story still. And so there's a huge difference. And I think George in his era did that kind of flow walk. There you go. Did that kind of thing and made sure that it didn't turn into a time travel where someone can pull someone out anytime you wanted to. I think that was well done in the original EU compared to now. So that's what I'm trying to get at. It's called flow walk. And then like the pool of knowledge too is another aspect, and all that.
Oh, it's a lazy plot device. It really is.
Mhm.
Because I just finished watching the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and and before you waste time on it, any of you guys that watch Marvel stuff, I will tell you that it's pretty fairly woke. And the thing about the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the fact that they leaned heavily on time travel, and there's some very lazy plot devices used, and it's just like, come on. And then the last couple episodes, they introduced them, messing around in the quantum realm, and I'm just like, really? So every like Marvel related property now is going to lean on the quantum realm for stuff. It's just, oh man, I hate it.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the original lore is that you can't, if you go into the future or the past through flow walking, you can't manipulate it whatsoever. You can't, and that's the rule on that. And I think that's, and I'm glad that George and the writers and the company at the time, made sure it didn't turn into a plot device thing and mess up the lore, because then that lends into lazy writing. Then you can just say, oh, well, they can travel back in time, and our puppy can travel back in time and, ruin Luke as a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see that happening now because of that. So yeah, so I digress on that. So we have Lord Vader. She didn't fight Vader to a draw or even beat him. You can tell that she was losing the duel, and Vader was beating her, so she's not a Mary Sue.
Oh, she injured him more than.
She did. She even sliced his mask open.
Yeah, and that's a Padawan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's no. She should have been dead within seconds, which would have been cool because that would have shown how far Anakin had fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin. Yeah. Well, to be fair, he should have killed her during Order 66, like George wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would have been compelling to his arc, even killing his own Padawan.
Yeah.
So that's just me, though. I just thought that Rey was kind of boring, and then the lovers versus hater thing just blew up. Yeah, I know. Oh, hey Tracy, how you doing? I like to think that she bested Mob just because he was shook by what he knows what's coming.
He's a Sith Lord. He knows what's coming. Well, that's Palpatine taking over.
Yeah.
A Sith Lord wouldn't be that bothered by it.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't Ahsoka be shook up about stuff too? I mean, bad things were happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I did watch the philosophy of Korea and the video after it which is the fall or failing of the Gray Jedi. Oh, here we go, Gray Jedi. There was no Gray Jedi Order, no Gray Jedi.
Nope.
So Drew's like, we're going through this again.
Wait, are we revisiting this? What?
Ahsoka, had gone through a lot and was capable of besting Maul through the trials she endured. What trials did she endure? And then Maul is basically way older than her, or is he? Are they about the same age?
He's
No,
a
he's
senior
older.
citizen.
Yeah, he's older than her, and he's got trained by a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten tortured and all kinds of stuff.
Wouldn't that
shouldn't be-
make Ahsoka the bad person because that's elder abuse because he's a senior citizen at that point?
Actually, he was also disabled.
Yeah, exactly. Like, God, she's beating on a disabled senior citizen. What does that make her?
Well,
Actually, that makes her Antifa, doesn't it?
Yes.
oh my God. Oh, Lord. Okay, we're going to get into Shadows of Empire here pretty quick. So since we have, strayed from it, but let me go ahead. We're going to go through some of the chats real quick before we do that. Lord Vader, and plus her Maul duel, Maul was dominating her in the entire fight. The only reason she won was because she could make the logical conclusion that he got overconfident since he was dominating the entire fight.
No, he
So
wasn't.
then, wouldn't that be a plot device for anyone who is losing to all of a sudden win then?
Yeah, and she kicked him through a window, flipped him from a standstill position through a window which was 10 feet away. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And Tracy's like, I don't think Maul wanted to kill Ahsoka. And then George lets Seth MacFarlane and Seth Green have fun with Star Wars. Oh, yeah.
If he didn't want to kill Ahsoka, why attack her with a lightsaber?
Something to think about. Filoni committed the greatest sin of all. He cucked the Mandalorians. Oh, yeah. I have Stig gave me this sent me the whole her whole blog, and I in the future I plan on doing a few video series on that. So yeah, and in fact, because I didn't have the series, I got it for my birthday. So I am very excited. They will be coming in. I mean, there's so much lore to touch. I'm like, oh, they will come up. Yeah, eventually everything in Star Wars, like all the novel reviews and stuff, will eventually happen. It's just going to take a long time. So, but yeah, I can't wait to get to that and review them because I love what Karen Travis did with the Mandalorians and created such a culture based off of Boba Fett, a culture and a language and everything behind it. And I think it's fascinating.
Karen Travis does that pretty well, but man, I really hate her writing a lot of the time.
You do?
Yeah, I am not a Karen Travis fan, but I will give her mad credit for that portion of it. She did really well with fleshing out the culture of the Mandalorians, and hey, that was great.
Yeah,
and she does have she contributes to a lot of sci-fi franchises. I know in the book of short stories that I have for Halo, she has a short story in there as well. So I mean, she's good, but I just don't like her writing style.
Did you read Bloodline in Legacy of the Force series in Star Wars?
No, not yet. I've read.
I think you might like that one, but that's when Jaina Solo goes and gets trained by Boba Fett. So I think you might like that. So I mean, we all have our favorite authors in any franchise we like, and even if we don't care for one, there are some gems that they have written. So so I understand. And we all, like I said, we all have our favorite. Lord Vader, I don't kid the world between worlds, and I'm open to Ahsoka's story continuing as long as it's interesting.
I mean, that's fine if they fill in some gaps. If they fill in some gaps and things like that, that would be good. But as she is right now, her character is a little loopy because of the stuff that is unfulfilled. So we'll see if they fill in those gaps.
Yeah.
It's just, it would be better.
I don't like the world between worlds, and I think that's where they rigged up in the lore. Honestly, I do. I think that they should not have introduced it whatsoever. I watched Rebels and I agree with Orange Hat reviews. So let's see here. I think Ezra using the world between worlds caused the sequels to happen. Aladdin. Okay, Flow Walk. Thank you. Yes. I didn't, I'm like coming through these right here because I didn't get through all of them here.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me ended with season 5. Don't make sense why they didn't connect with Infinity War.
Opportunity missed. Agreed.
Yeah, we can agree, like, between franchises that there's opportunities that have been missed that could have expanded more on their individual lore. We can all agree with that. And like even with Star Wars, you can make the argument that he distracted on getting the holocron from Ezra so he didn't feel her coming.
Oh man. Yeah.
So and like I said, you guys already commented on this as we were talking. I'm just trying to get through them. So anyways, let's get into Shadows of the Empire here and the gameplay. So me and Stig already kind of touched bases on the novelization. Did you read the novel?
I didn't read the novel, but I messed around with the game a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting because the game itself is kind of like, it has chapters as you go through progressively. So, know, you've got the part 1 where, you have the portion Echo Base and, Dash and is at the Echo Base trying to get out because after he delivers supplies. And then, the second portion, after you get out of that stage, you're searching for Boba Fett and whatnot. And then, you get into where you start hunting these assassins and things like that. And because supposedly they're going to kill Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And then finally you get to the climax of the game where it's, you get Luke and Lando and Chewbacca and Dash. They all go to Zizor's palace to get Leia. And you have to go through this elaborate, the sewer system and the whole 9 yards. And then, you go and try to save her, and then that's like the climax of everything. But it's a good game for what it was. I believe the PC version was around 97, so it's an oldie but goodie. If you play it now, obviously there's majorly dated graphics, but Stig and I had a conversation about gaming and playing games with dated graphics. Some of them hold up, some of them do not.
Yeah.
It's debatable if this one holds up or not, but this was a fun game. It was for the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and so Assassin, I hated the sewer level damn Dianogas and couldn't see a thing with all the darkness. See a thing with all the darkness. Yeah, and so it goes with the book very well. We do have that in the novelization where they have to go under in the sewers to get into the palace, and they do have the Dianogas that Luke has to basically slay, so that they can get out safely and into the palace. And so that was very, very interesting with that. So and just imagine, I can only imagine it in the gameplay, having to pass that level or having to pass that portion of the game,
basically the game is kind of interlinked with with the novel, because every time Dash shows up in the novel and in the comic, it's right after one of the levels in the game.
Okay.
Basically. So you just in the novel you pretty much only see him when he runs into the other characters.
Yeah. Okay.
But but the game is what he's doing in between.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And so, Drew, so what like for gameplay for yourself, what rating would you give Empire or Shadows of the Empire? Or did he take off? Okay, so
Yeah.
Steve, you go ahead and answer that.
Well,
and then when he gets back, I will have him.
I guess back then, looking
Mhm.
at what games were like back then, it's probably an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
But now I'd say it's much lower because it has those early 3D models,
Yeah.
and they have not aged well at all. I mean,
Mhm.
if you look at the Jedi Knight series and Dark Forces and all that, Dark Forces 1 kind of looks better than Jedi Knight 1, even
Yeah.
though they're years apart because of the early 3D models. But
Yeah.
now I'd say I'd give it a 4.
Okay. Yeah,
4 out
because
of
it didn't age
yeah,
well. Huh?
yeah, and the level design is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because if you compare it to Jedi Knight 2, every
Mhm.
level in Jedi Knight 2
Mhm.
looks like an actual Star Wars place. If you enter a base, it looks like a base.
Yeah.
It's the layout and all that. But Shadows of the Empire and Jedi Knight 1, it's just a maze, so you can tell it's a game. It's just complicated to navigate, just to add
Okay.
the difficulty and stuff.
Yeah, I remember back then I had the Super Nintendo version.
Oh, Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that brings back memories for me as well. I had actually when Nintendo first came out, so basically that was my first game console. And
Yeah.
when Nintendo first came out, and I remember
Oh,
like
you youngin.
Mario,
You
huh?
youngin.
I
You're a
know
youngin.
I'm a youngin.
Man,
Games. My first games that I really got into was the Mario Brothers series.
yeah, original Super Mario and Duck Hunt. Like when I had my
Yeah.
first Nintendo, when I got it, it came with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. So like, and of course, I was always that person that cheated on Duck Hunt. I sat like, a foot away from the screen.
Yes,
You
of
know,
course. Yes, you couldn't stand back or anything. Cheater, cheater.
I did. I ain't care.
He's like, I didn't care. I was having fun cheating.
But Mario, I got through on my own.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I love Mario Brothers. I love that. And then Mario Kart comes out, and that's one of like I love that too. I mean, yeah. So, and then I got into Mortal Kombat, and then my time with game kind of ended for band and dance and all that. So yeah. So that's why I never really got into Star Wars gaming, because by the time I got out of it and stuff, I really just didn't pick up on those games yet at all, because I was involved in the band and I was involved in competition dancing and stuff like that for my school. So that consumed most of my time. So
Yeah, but that brings back memories, man. And then the first Nintendo, there is, I promise you, there is nobody in this chat right now that was better at Tecmo Bowl than me. Like me loving football, I was a monster at Tecmo Bowl. There is nobody in this chat that could beat me in original Tecmo Bowl.
I have the soundtrack right here on vinyl. I haven't opened it yet though.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, and so with the novel, I know Stig has read it. With the novel, like Stig said, it really, the game is very intertwined into the novel. And so, like I said, I don't I haven't played the game. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not. I'm maybe positive. But the game didn't show Luke building his lightsaber, right? Or training, right?
No, the game was fully focused on Dash.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
it was very Dash centric in the game.
okay.
I don't I remember reading the original book so many years ago, because I had taken it out of the library and I did read that book, but I'm foggy because God, I read it years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the book. I know the book and the game went together really well. They didn't really deviate too much from events. There were some things, obviously, because in game design you have to, make sure that it translates to what you're trying to do with the video game when designing it. But yeah, it was really faithful to the book. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And that's what I love about that. In like how you played it basically is not what happened in the lore or in the novel. But, and I get that's what games were. But when you have the games really tied into the novel and then you get to explore it and make something different, a little bit different than what you read and, make your own adventure from it and try to, pass all these levels and stuff like that. That's what's so enjoyable about Star Wars, games and stuff, and probably games behind lores in general, franchises in general and stuff. And, with the novelization, I really like the fact that, Obi-Wan left journal for Luke to continue his studies, because they trained him, but they didn't formally train him. So he didn't have the Jedi archives, the Jedi libraries to study from. And he didn't have countless other masters to learn from, or even, go basically through formal training like a young Padawan would as they grew up in the order. And, the thing, like in reading about how Obi-Wan made sure that Luke had some information on how to build his first lightsaber, and then also shared history of the Jedi, like through his writings and his account while he was alive, along with other teachings, was very phenomenal. And I really like that about the novel as well. So, Stig, you want to add anything to that?
No.
You're like, no, you said it all.
Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly. And then at the end of the novel, then you get it going right in to Return of the Jedi, where he does make the recording to send off to Jabba. So we have him talking with Leia, and then he does make the recording, and puts it into R2 records his message to Jabba. And then he's like, I hope this, basically helps, we'll see, and he has a plan. We understand that he has a plan.
Yeah,
To rescue Han.
there were a lot of there was also a lot of cinematics in this game. There were a lot of cutscenes in this game, which was cool. I like the fact that this was I like cinematics in games, especially when they're done pretty good. And I thought the ones for this game were done well. So it pretty much the engine in this game that LucasArts used was they also used it on Dark Forces as well. So if anybody, when you played Shadows of the Empire, if you thought it was like Dark Forces, well, you're right, because they use the same engine for it. So
yeah. Excuse me. And so what do you guys think about Prince Seizure? Since we're on Shadows and we can kind of dissect everything with it. So what you guys, I know you know him more or less through the games, but through the novel, Stig, as well. And if you can remember, what's your impression about Prince Seizure?
Never liked him.
Okay.
I liked his species.
Yeah.
His species was cool. I liked the Black Sun organization. I just never liked him. It was too much of a mustache twirling villain in a way.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Not a fan. I didn't think he added anything except for being like a little bit of a threat to the main characters, and then just get killed off by Vader.
Yeah, and what I think was fascinating was, people argue like the new lore is making it look like Vader wants Luke dead all the way up until he gets redeemed. So that's what the new lore is making out between Vader and Luke's story. And I think I touched basis on that last week or the week before. I think it was last week, anyways. When we read about, insert about the comics, the Vader comics, where anybody's named Skywalker needs to be dead, kind of thing, according to Vader. Well, in this book, in Shadows of the Empire, Vader wants Luke alive. In fact, he is so like, his compassion and his curiosity about Luke and stuff, and knowing that he has surviving child, has him protecting Luke in the story. And I think that's phenomenal because it shows that he's beginning, like Anakin starting to come out more and more, and it lends to the redemption. And of course, we know that he wants Luke so that they can turn him to the dark side. And but then also, again, love of family plays into this as well. And I think that's what Disney Lucasfilm is missing, is that love of family of what turned Vader, and the love of family is what redeems him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's see here. The novel has the Empire talking to Vader. Yes, it does, from Empire Strikes Back. And when you listen to it on Audible, you have that revisited. However, like Prince Xizor basically is in the background of that, so he hears everything. And Prince Xizor wants to be number 2, like the highest ruling, strongest villain in the galaxy, and he has to eliminate Vader to have that spot. So that's the plot line between Vader and Xizor. And so he wants Luke dead. Xizor wants Luke dead, not Vader. Just so that he can have Vader get reprimanded by Palpatine, so that Xizor can move up in the chain of, I guess, command in the villains world of Star Wars. So that's what happens. That's their little push and pull between Vader and Xizor. So so he was present in the conversation. He mused about killing Vader in that moment. Yes, he was like, I could kill him, but I'm pretty sure that because of his Force abilities, he would have the best of me. So he kind of knew his place with Vader in the sense too.
By the way, I know somebody will probably ask what I'm sitting here like munching on in the background. So, yeah, I got the extra toasty Cheez-Its. They're awesome. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I always pronounce seizure. It's pronounced seizure in the Audible, but Zior is, but learn proper pronunciation later on. Yeah, so the Audible is really fun. I think it's unabridged though, but it's really fun to listen to because you have that animation, you have all the Star Wars sound effects and everything to it as well. It's like, I think anything that has to do with Shadows of the Empire has been well done when it all came out. Everything, every part of it.
To reply to Bad Bunny, the sun doesn't start to set for another 2.5 hours.
Ah, okay. I know you have those long days or long nights up there, depending on the time of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sun comes up really early now too. But,
okay. So Soul Assassin, I remember hearing that Xizor was in the audience in episode 1 pod race as an extra. I believe so. I'm not sure though. I have to look into that, but I think he does. I think George Lucas put a lot of like EU in there. I know we all know that, he used Ayla, Barriss and all of them. He used
Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually in there.
Okay.
Just a little Easter egg.
Yeah. And so I think it's fun to find out the Easter egg. So if that's the case, there's one more EU character. And we all know George liked the story so much that he was also considering making a movie out of it.
Yeah.
So at one point. And that would have been fun. I think it would have been fun. I think it would have been neat to see Luke reading the journal. Obi-Wan leaves him, constructing his lightsaber, and training on his own in Tatooine. Even if they would have put the thugs chasing Luke in the canyons, in Bigger Canyon, on those canyons that he zooms through and stuff. I think that would have been fun too, because then it would mirror, Anakin's pod racing, but then also you would go more into the story about how Luke would race in Baker's Canyon with Biggs and shoot womp rats and stuff. So I think that would have been excellent to do. Let's see here. Delicious Rum. Are you aware that Kowakin monkey lizards are incredibly generous lovers? Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that interesting bit. You guys are funny. All right, Stig. Simone in the chat said it's 12:35 a.m. here. Oh, wow.
22:35
I put
a.m.
12. I'm
That's
sorry.
not a thing. That's
Yeah.
not even a thing. You can't use 24 hours, and then use AM or PM. That only goes to from 1 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 12. Since you want to know, it's 7:39 p.m. in Norway.
Okay. Yeah, so he's using military time with the AM PM kind of thing.
Yeah,
it should be
if
military time.
it's military time, you can't use AM or PM because there's no, that you'd have to have 24 hours twice in a day.
Interesting. Okay. All right, SupremeHertic. Remember, monkey lizards are for life, not just for spit roasting. Oh, goodness gracious. So, Stig, what's your favorite part of the novel? Like, what really? I mean, there's probably many of it, but what really did you enjoy in the novel? Like, if you want to expand on that.
I liked pretty much just seeing the OT characters on another adventure together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Soul Assassin is correct. 22:35 would be 10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you just take away 2, or you depend on the time of thing. Yeah. So
Yeah, it goes from
0.
from
0,
from
1.
0 to 12, both for PM and AM.
Yeah.
So 22 AM, it's not a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So with me, like I love the story in general. I love how, Vader basically searches for Luke still, but doesn't want to kill him. And he's very fascinated with him. He wants him on the dark side. He's, excited to have family, basically, in a sense. That lends to the beginning of his redemption, if you think about it more. But then also you also read about Leia's yearning and about Han, and she has her nightmare or her dream about what had happened when he got encased in carbonite on Cloud City and stuff like that, and her really in dire needs to want him rescued and him back with her and stuff. And I thought that was very interesting as well. And then how loyal Chewie is with making sure Han is rescued as well. So yeah, let's see here. Morning. Right. Yeah. The train is just about to pull in town later. All right. Well,
take care, bad buddy.
Thank you so much for dropping in as well. So people in the chat, if you read or played the game, go ahead and share what you liked and maybe even not liked. I mean, because there's always going to be good points and bad points in anything, and in the lore and stuff. So Dash Render, what do you guys think about the character?
Well, I thought he was okay. I mean, kind of a almost by the book protagonist. I mean, he's not bad, but he's kind of generic, and I don't want to say that in a bad sense. I think that it was very careful that he was kind of generic, so that he didn't overshadow somebody. He didn't overshadow any of the superstars like Han or Luke or anything like that. Dash was good. Don't get me wrong. He was notable, but he was a protagonist. And even when you were playing the game, he felt like kind of the typical ordinary everyday hero. He wasn't like the larger than life kind of superstar type hero that somebody like Luke or Han would be.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought Dash Rendar was a bit of a the poor man's Han Solo.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that, Stig. There was that too. So and again, it was because they worked very careful in the writing because they weren't going to overshadow the superstars.
The thing is that I think that when they bring in new characters and they introduce them, they don't push back the main characters for the new characters to shine, like we see in the Disney trilogy. And I'm just going to use that as an example. So that allows the new characters that are being introduced a chance to grow and earn their spot. If you get what I'm saying. And yeah, so like even like when you get into the lore and we start seeing other characters introduced, they never had to, like even when Kyle Katarn came in with Luke, they didn't have to, reduce Luke's time and his character in order to make sure Kyle Katarn is seen. They just wrote a good character.
Actually, when you play Jedi Knight 2, you do a long mission with Luke in it, and when you're playing it, it's pretty obvious that Luke is more powerful than Katarn at that point.
Yeah.
Because Luke is a beast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But still, Katarn still earns his place because he's still well written. They didn't have to take away any of Luke's abilities or change his arc to make sure that this new character can be seen and heard.
Yeah, I mean, not every new character needs to be the most important character or the most powerful one, which is something Disney seems to miss.
Yeah.
It's not about the power level, it's about the character. I mean, Kyle Katarn is not the most powerful Jedi in Star Wars, he never was, but he's a good character.
Yeah, he's a lot more. Kyle Katarn was a lot more compelling than Dash.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, because he did leave several missions to, get the Death Star plans.
Yeah,
and to be fair though, Kyle Katarn did get more depth in the later games than Dash did, because Dash is pretty much a blank slate in the first game, and so is Katarn. In Dark Forces is pretty much a blank slate, but later on, Katarn gets his own fleshed out story. I don't think Dash ever got that one.
No, Teresa made a good comment right there, because it's just like Stig was saying, Dash was too much of a hand clone for my taste. And look, let's be real, guys. If we were gonna slap a label on Dash Rendar, it would be like Walmart. It would say great value, because Dash was probably like a great value, typical sort of hybrid gunslinger, so he was a great value Han Solo.
He's from Corellia. Corellians were basically, if you look in the lore, Corellians basically become great pilots. Corellia also is a shipyard as well that builds their own stylish, versions of ships and stuff. And they are people of pride and stuff. And so we see that. And I get what you guys are saying. He's like a 2.0 of Han. He is in a sense, but then he also is his own character as well. I think if they would have made him or gave him other opportunities to be fleshed out, then maybe we would see more. And would that theory that people would be like, that I wouldn't say theory, but how people feel about him probably would have changed some more if we were able to get a more better fleshed out, continuation stories of him. So I think that's where they done his character short.
Yeah, I think Lucas film got a bit obsessed with Corellians, because every time there was a good pilot in Star Wars, the bastard was from Corellia.
Yeah, like Wedge is Corellian, and then was it Booster Tarek? Was he for Corellia? Yeah, he is Corellian too. And so his daughter is basically Corellian.
Wasn't Corin Horn a Corellian too?
Corin's a Corellian. Then we have Dash Rendar a Corellian. Yeah, so we have a lot of Corellians that are great, phenomenal pilots and stuff. And then Han, of course, is the OG one that began the Corellians, being great pilots and whatever, so we do have that. And that's a great point. And
it's actually a missed opportunity, because they could have had great pilots from other planets, and they could have compared and contrasted with Wedge and Han, and we could have got to explore why the other planets have a good pilot as well, and what's the difference in how they learn how to pilot and all that. But it was just you got a good pilot. He's from Corellia too.
But the Skywalkers aren't, so that's great.
Yeah.
They so there you go. And Kyle Katarn, well, he wasn't an excellent pilot, but he was really good as well. But then you also have the Jedi because of their force instincts and stuff like that, which make them, great pilots. Obi-Wan was a good pilot, but he hate piloting. He hate flying. We already know that from the PT. So, in general, Jedis have great instincts for piloting because of the force. So I guess that's something that's, just there as well. And, but Drew, before you came on, when I was like, just reviewing, Dash's biography and stuff for our talk, refreshing my memory on him, because I know that he was predominantly in the game. Guess what? He is now in a novel mentioned in one of Disney Lucas's EU novels that pertains to Han. So he's now inside the new lore, just mentioned right now. As of now, he's mentioned.
No, it's good.
No, it isn't.
Well,
the novel is Solo Star Wars Story. The name of the novel is Tales from Vandor. And that's his first chronological, that sounds kind of funny, mentioned.
Yeah.
Chronological mention, yeah.
Well, we'll see. There's one of those things where I think including him gives them an opportunity. I think they're trying to kind of target characters as well, because if you think about it, if season 2 with The Mandalorian gains some traction, and Disney knows that they can make some series that can at least cut through the rift and resonate and feel like Star Wars to some fans, he might be a spin-off target. So
he's white, male, and straight.
Yeah,
he's got no chance.
The thing is that he will never be the same character as he was as we see him in the lore.
No, not in this. He won't be.
Like them bringing in Mara Jade. No,
yeah.
She will never be. She will never have the same arc. How can she fit in as Luke's wife as well? And so no. So anytime they bring in a new or a character from the original lore, it's not them. Like Thrawn, his development and stuff is not the same. And he was never a martial arts type fighter. He fought with his mind, and stuff. And so they changed things up. And yeah, Thrawn or Zahn rewritten him, but it's still not the same character.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Rebels, Thrawn's IQ is obviously 50. Because he's basically Gargamel. I'm not kidding.
If Gargamel was blue,
Yeah, he keeps capturing the rebels, and then he's talking to them sinisterly, and then they escape.
I miss Gargamel.
Oh, that was so much fun. I loved Smurfs. That was fun. My grandma was so funny. She would say, Gargamel's my boyfriend. She really liked him.
Oh.
So I thought that was funny. She always made us laugh. So on pilots, anyone remember playing TIE Fighters where Vader shows up to give you orders? It was just a cockpit. I swear I can friggin' read.
Cockpit shooter.
Yeah, I'm like stumbling on a cockpit. That sounds so bad. Anyways, but still had Star Wars authenticity than the recent electronic art stuff.
I actually beat TIE Fighter back in the day. It's awesome because if you become too good in that game and get too many medals and do everything flawlessly, you have to go in and meet Palpatine, and he kills you.
Yeah.
He just kills you.
Excuse me. Soul Assassin. OG is a Corellian, Drew is a Corellian, and Stig is from Hoth.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Hello. Let's see here. Mandalorian games should be made. And the thing is, it's like the Mandalorian people are like, oh, we like it because it's, true to the lore, and it's
no, it isn't.
its own thing. and it's individual and its own creation. And I'm like, well, you know what? If you guys know the with Jango Fett, it's basically his story rewritten to the Mandalorian. Like if you look in the beginning of the first season and he's having flashbacks on how he came to be a Mandalorian, that's exactly Jango Fett's story.
Yeah, they just ripped it off, and
So it's not
Cara Dune is just a rip off of his Boba Fett's granddaughter.
Oh, Mirror to Give.
Yeah, and it's certainly not true to the lore because they changed the Jawas to have Jawas on other planets. Wikipedia got updated the day after saying, "Oh yeah, Jawas can be found on other planets too."
Yeah,
but George wrote them as native to Tatooine, and then you have the Sand People scene where they trade electro binoculars with the Sand People.
mm-hmm.
That's a big no because Sand People hate technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they would have attacked on sight. It's basically same as offering a Muslim bacon.
Weird. Yeah, I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah, because it's on a religious level. They would have attacked on sight.
Yeah, it was against their spirituality, I guess you can say, and with technology and stuff. And even in Kenobi, they did start bringing in a water evaporator, but the person that took care of the water evaporator was Oren Gold, not them. And as long as he could produce water and make sure that evaporator produces water, which he totally was in control of, not the Sand People, then he remained alive.
Yeah.
Because if they handled it, that was against their beliefs, I guess you could say. Yeah. And so we have Shane Nolan. I'm hearing Smurfs theme in my head. Na 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 na. There we go. And geez, damn, OG, where's your mind at? I don't know. I think I left it in bed.
Yeah, it's funny because usually you're making me blush. It's funny to see you on a stream blushing yourself.
I made myself blush.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see here. I am from Tatooine. Yes, you are, Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. So you should know all about the Sand People and their beliefs and stuff, right? I could not beat the TIE Fighter. Respect to Stig, games were hard back then.
They were. Yeah. That's when gaming was in its kind of one of its golden ages.
No hand holding at all.
No hand holding, no cheat sheets or anything.
No, games were just hard. I mean, if you didn't make it, you had to sit down and cry and try again.
Yeah, and then start all over. Oh God, yes, I remember that so much. And then once you beat it, you're like, yeah, and then you find out there's a secret level, and then you have to go to that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the old X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, they have like 20 buttons because you have to use the whole keyboard pretty much for increasing the shields and the speed, and you really feel like you're in an X-Wing. Now they're doing a new one which is designed to be played with a controller, which has 8 buttons.
Yeah, so are you talking about that Squadrons game that's coming out today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably play it because, and just to let you guys know, I do have Origins, so when that game actually is available, I will probably be able to download and play it. So I will probably do a streaming playthrough of it when it comes out, and just to see what it's all about. But yeah,
it's going to be lore breaking as hell.
Mm-hmm. Most likely.
Alphabet Squadron. You're going to get the Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah, I know.
And like even Rogue Squadron now for the new lore isn't how it originally was created. It was created between Luke Skywalker and Wedge, and then when Luke went off to training, he left Wedge in command, and every time Luke came back to the squadron, he was honorary commander of it, leader of it. And now Wedge didn't even create it with him.
Star Wars Squadron by itself is a plot hole. Because all they have to do is take a cheap A-Wing, put a droid in it, and have it hyperspace through enemy Star Destroyers.
There you go. Because of the holdover.
Yeah, there's because if Holdo can calculate it, then a droid, which is basically a calculator, can do it too. So cheap droid, cheap ship against very
There you
expensive
go.
Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
point in space battles in Star Wars anymore.
Well, the only reason they came out with that game was because there was a lot of people on, on Battlefront, like the newer Battlefront that played, the squadron battles instead of playing the ground. So I think they kind of paid attention to the trends, and that's why they came out with the squadrons game. But we'll see. And like I said, I will probably get into it when it comes out and mess around with it on my channel, because I can download it and play it for free. So.
And then I'm anxious to see when you write an article about it too.
Yep, yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll probably just do a review of it when it comes out.
Yeah. All right. So we have Soul Assassin. The scene where the Death Watch troopers carrying a little Mando was the exact copy of Jester Morale and Django in the EU comics. Exactly. That's what I noticed. I was like, oh, Django right there. They copied the comics. They copied his lore. They copied his arc.
Yeah,
so
because
Dave
Filoni can't come up with anything.
Well, that's the thing with Favreau and Filoni both. They need to start focusing on some originals and try to I'd like to see something different as a fan, but
well, they wanted creative freedom. That's why they decided to, make the original lore non-canon. It's for creative freedom, but they're not showing it. So they're not giving us a new look per what they want to see Star Wars as. They're just giving us a bad version of the original EU.
If you look at I think it was in the bonus material for episode 9, you see, the script writer sitting there writing the script with the Thrawn trilogy next to him on the desk.
Chris with her. Yes.
Yeah, it's just ripping off the book.
All right, so Luke Skywalker, they had banned pod racing, which was a shame, as I think I could have participated. So he's talking about Tatooine and in the lore. Yes, they did, and I think there was one instant where Luke did go into pod racing and won. I can't remember exactly part of the lore of that, so go ahead and let me know what that was, Luke. He probably did already, but Soul Assassin Plug, I would be furious with those two Sam people trading with the Mando. Yeah, you're right, because she was like, yeah. Orange Hat, I played X-Wings versus TIE Fighter. I beat a freaking Star Destroyer with a Y-Wing.
That takes time. I know.
Yeah. And let's see here. I know all about the Sand People. I got attacked by them. My micro binoculars got destroyed. Yes, they did. Mr. Dystopian Rogue Squadron on PC was the best. Did you guys play that one?
Never played that one.
Okay.
I own it though. I bought it on GOG, but I haven't gotten around to it.
And then we have Coventino Che. So I'm sorry if I butchered that. Alphabet Squadron. Yes,
yeah,
that's
basically the alphabet people in space. It's so diverse.
Star Wars Squadron. It looks decent. I'm cautiously optimistic for that game. All right, Soul Assassin would rather have the 1313 game released instead. Yes, and 1313 and Underworld, the live action series that George is going to base that upon too as well. That would have been great to have, the game and then the series. That would have been great. Okay. Let's see. 3 Men and a Baby is being remade. Yes, but Mandalorian is 3 bounty hunters and a baby. I don't hear anything because I'm at work, so I'm just gonna say random things and hope it connects with the conversation at hand. He's like, I am watching but not listening. Orange Hat Review. I played all the N64 Star Wars games, missed them. That's great. Yes. So I mean, I will probably maybe, because I still have my subscription because I got it free to Disney Plus because of my cell phone carrier that I am with, but so I might get into watch season 2 of The Mandalorian, just to, like I said, compare and contrast between the Mandos, the Fets, and the storyline, since we already know that the Mandalorian, his arc basically mirrors Jango Fett's right now. So Darth Megatron now is the blob racing. No, this is blob racing. I'm sorry. See, I freaking can't read today. I can't read. I swear. But there was that. What was it? Was it in the Jedi Academies? They had that blob racing, right, Stig?
Yeah. I think it was Rosie O'Donnell and someone else running.
Oh my god. Yes. So yeah. So you want to say anything like a conclusion to Shadows of the Empire, both game and novel, Stig, if you want to sum it up for yourself? Because we are coming past 11 a.m. here and I have things to do.
Fits perfectly with the OT.
Yeah.
It creates no issues at all. It was competently written. If you haven't read it, I'd say the graphic novel is pretty much just as good as the novel.
Yeah.
I don't think it leaves too much out. As for the game, it hasn't aged that well. The soundtrack, though, is awesome.
Yeah, I thought the game was good for its time, but I agree. The game hasn't aged well, like by comparison to modern day, gaming engines and game graphics. It just hasn't aged too well. But Shadows of the Empire, the game had a great story. It stayed faithful to the novel.
Okay.
Trivia. A little bit of the soundtrack can be heard in the opening of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
They tossed it in there as a little
Easter egg.
Yeah, or like a little celebration actually of that soundtrack. Yeah. John Williams did that.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's again another piece of EU in the PT, and that really shares that George Lucas loved the EU. Even if he couldn't sit down and read the novels, he read the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That man was so busy, and he didn't write anything other than like the very first novel of the EU, and he did do a ghost writing, I believe, for Shatterpoint, the prologue to it. He was never an author. It was a filmmaker. So that's why he really didn't write in the EU. However, he did help create it. So there's a huge difference. His specialty was a filmmaker, not a writer.
And making a movie is not the same as writing a novel.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when people says, well, he didn't write anything, of course he didn't. He's not an author. He's a filmmaker. But he did help with the lore. So there's a huge difference. And so when people use that as an argument to George not liking the EU or not contributing, that falls flat because that was never his expertise. He was never an author. If he was an author, then he probably would have written a lot of the lore as well.
Yeah, he actually had to have a co-writer for the Willow novel trilogy as well.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And that even for Splinters of the Mind's Eye, he was a ghostwriter for that. And someone argued with me, oh, he didn't write Splinters of the Mind Eye. I'm like, oh my God, really? Oh. That was their argument on Twitter. That he never liked the EU. He didn't even write Splinters of the Mind Eye. And I'm like, really?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. It's silly what the takes that some people have, but in wrapping up Shadows of the Empire, I think it did pretty well, and I'm speaking more obviously from the game side because again I'm rather foggy on the book because my God, I'd love to go back to the age I was when I checked it out of the library, but I can speak from the video game and remembering it well. Yeah, it was pretty good, nice representation of Star Wars. It doesn't hold up today as far as that, but the story within the game does. So
yeah,
I thought it was well done, very much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm not privy to the game, but I've heard a lot of great reviews on how well it's tied to the book and or the the lore of Shadows of the Empire in that section of the lore of Star Wars. And and I'm kind of sad that if I go back and play it, it's not going to be very well perceived or very it's not going to be up to the gaming standards of today because of when it was created. But I do understand that as well. That would be awesome if they would do a remake of it, still keep the game as it was, but just take improve the graphics and everything like that so that you can it can be played and loved again. And so thank you guys so much for talking about the game as and sharing what you guys like about it and stuff. So we have here, is Boba Fett going to confront the Mandalorian saying, "You took my father's story, prepare to die"?
I don't know. We'll have to see what season 2 brings. I'm curious. I have a lot of curiosity about it. I definitely plan on watching season 2. I plan on reviewing season 2. So we'll see.
If they bring Boba Fett back, they're contradicting their own.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what a lot of people are worried about. But we'll see what they bring in. I'm definitely interested to see Bo-Katan. I hope that Katie Sackhoff has a part in it for a spell.
Of course. Yeah, look at right there.
It will be interesting though to see if she removes her helmet, because according to the show, they never removed their helmet, even though they did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and in Rebels, she had her helmet off most of the time. So we'll see how they approach that, because they if they contradict their own rules again, it's just going to be like a more eye roll. Like, okay, come on, really, guys? But we'll see when we get to it. Maybe it'll be pretty good. So. Anyhow, are we wrapping up then, Laura?
Yes, we are. So so next week's lore review will probably be more on Jedi lore. And I'm going to have another video that comes out here within the next couple of days. I started an intro with Jedi lore, rules and duties of the Jedi. That's starting to introduce the factions of like Guardian, Consular, and Sentinel. And the next one is going to go ahead and break down the Guardian role of within the Jedi Order. And one of the notable Guardians is Anakin Skywalker. And so I'm going to break down that lore and then go on through that. So we'll talk about that. And I am thinking about also doing a review of Dark Forces. I've been sitting down and reading through the novels again that I have. So just to make sure I have every little point down, because they don't just, even in this, they don't just steal one Death Star plan. They go to multiple places. And
I played that game. I know that game.
Yeah. And I know we talked about it last week. And so since last week, I've been reading through because I want to make sure that I have some important key elements I want to talk about, since there's a debate on, like how many Death Star plans are, taken, and how they say it's not consistent because they're stealing Death Star plans here and there and everywhere. So I want to kind of break that down a little bit more as well. And so I've been taking my time.
Which ties into episode 4 when they say several transmissions were beamed aboard this ship.
Exactly.
Not one floppy disk carried physically over. Like
exactly. Yeah, they carry a friggin' floppy disk. That's friggin' crazy. Yeah. It's like this huge floppy disk or whatever. And I understand that, she inserts something inside R2-D2 when she sends him off to Tatooine for Obi-Wan. I understand that as well, but it's I don't know. It's I'll break that all down, and probably compare a little bit with Rogue One as well. So I'm excited for that. It's going to turn into a lore review for the novels as well as a compare and contrast. So we'll go back a little bit into this, not game wise, but like continuity wise, and compare and contrast with Rogue One. So it should be fun, because everybody loves Rogue One. They say it's one of the better, shows that Disney comes out of. But when you think about it, it's just a remake of this. And this was well loved by fans.
If you remove the Vader scene, though, would I still love Rogue One that much?
No. They wouldn't. they put Vader in their last minute because they knew that people probably wouldn't have really got into it unless Vader was in there.
What they should have done is they should have had Vader have a fight with Donnie Yen.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been dope.
Missed opportunity right there.
That would have been dope. But, I'm partial to Donnie Yen because I like good martial artists. So.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
That would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Stig.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, Drew, go ahead and tell us where we can find you. Share all your information.
Okay, guys. I am, of course, Drew Taylor, a.k.a. the Supreme Heretic, a.k.a. the Fandom Journalist. And you can find me at boundingintocomics.com because I write over there for my awesome boss, John Trentz. And, we've got... we actually have some interesting things in store today. I'm immediately after I get done here, I'm going to start working on, I've got a story about the cancellation of Halo, and I'm also going to make a companion video for it for the Bounding channel. So you guys can check that out on the Bounding channel. And of course, for the article on our website. And then tonight, later on, if you subscribe to my channel, we have a great discussion coming up about season 2 episode 16 of Battlestar Galactica, because on the Pegasus Actual podcast this evening we are doing the episode called Sacrifice. It's really awesome. There's a lot of Starbuck action, there's a lot of Apollo action in this episode, and it's very emotional because we have one of our first semi-major character deaths in this episode. So make sure that you tune in for that discussion this evening. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I have a great panel on there. It's myself, Script Doctor, Nerd Cookies, Culture Casino, Jane Theory. And normally we have author Stephen Welton, but he is on vacay writing, I'm assuming. So, that'll make some more work for me because I will be editing the Phantom Menace Volume 2 when he gets me some material to edit. And, you're going to enjoy tonight's Pegasus Actual podcast. So make sure that you tune in and look for those stories on Halo, and also I have a story on, and OG knows how I feel about this. I'm going to do an opinion piece on that. That unpregnant movie. Oh God. So look for that later today, guys. I'm going to start working on that as soon as we're done here.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys keep an eye out for that, and go subscribe to Drew's channel, and the support is greatly appreciated as well. So Stig, go ahead and let us know where we can find you, and all of your good information.
Yeah, just a tiny YouTube channel. Nothing to speak of really. I'm just hanging out with YouTubers, talking about Star Wars and other things. And Game of Thrones on Wednesdays on Sporking's channel, and on the Game of Thrones books, not the show. On Saturdays, we're doing these top 10 movies of each year on Christie's channel with Tom from Midnight's Edge, Culture Casinos there, Script Doctor. It's fun. People seem to like that one. That's pretty much what I do.
Yes, and he is really well versed on lores, like with Star Wars and other IPs or franchises that he's been on to talk about. And so it's always a great pleasure to have him here. And he's also, written as well. So he understands the writing process behind lores as well. So he's very knowledgeable, and I'm glad to have him on here, as well as Drew with his knowledge and what he does for the fandom as well. And so thank you guys. Again, I'm your legend girl trying to make it in this discounted world. And I will be having another combo with type interview coming up. I'm planning that with Mary Mayhem. So stay tuned. The date and time will be announced as soon as we get our time squared away. She's going through some, got, I wouldn't say personal stuff, but she's on the move right now, and with her are supposed to be with her parents and stuff, and so her time is now with her own channel has been taken up. So we're working on a slot at the end of the month to have that interview with her. And she has been also a great supporter of me and my channel. And I'm glad to be a part of Toxic Femininity. And so I thought I'd bring her on with, having a combo with her. And so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for, again, lore videos on Jedi lore as well as Dark Forces, compare and contrast with Rogue One, and also just talking about the Death Star plans in general and all of that as well. So again, you guys, thank you so much for coming in and listening to our gab about, the lore, and about Shadows of the Empire and all of that. And I appreciate you all.